Now, let's talk. After 6 o'clock, we'll be talking to Justin King, former CEO of Sainsbury's. Some of the big stories that he's seen this morning we'll be discussing. Though I'm absolutely obsessed with talking to him about supermarkets, because he's going to be a man in the know about those after having run Sainsbury's for so long. So we'll talk to him about that. But let's now talk to Dr. Roger Giebob, who is the CEO of Fair Money, personal finance and credit expert, who joins us here on Talk TV with some of the big business stories. But Roger, morning.
Hey, Cristo, good morning.
Really, it's resonated with people this morning, what I was talking about at the top of the show, where I said that on a national level, we've got Matt Hancock with his PPE, Rishi Sunak with his seatbelt, Boris Johnson with his Partygate and his wallpaper and his dodgy loans, and I mean the list from him is absolutely Jennifer Curie giving her money. It's absolutely endless of the corruption from Boris Johnson. We've got Nadeem Zahawi forgetting to pay tax on £27 million, bullying allegations from Dominic Raab. The list goes on and on. But then you might think, well, look, Labour are an alternative, but we only have what they do on a local level to look at. Hackney Labour-run council saying today that they're going to close through traffic to 75% of their roads. Sadiq Khan expanding the ultra-low emission zone despite overwhelming objection to it. Councils across London overwhelmingly closing roads and carrying out actions that after consultations they say they'll listen to, which they then ignore. We even had a council this week that asked the residents of a street whether they wanted their street name changed. Overwhelmingly 80% said no, we don't, and the council still went ahead and did it at the cost of £186,000. So you've got loony left local Labour who ignore, ride roughshod and have self-interest, and you've got national corrupt Conservatives who do the same. What on earth society do we live in, Roger?
I don't know. That's a real litany of wonderfulness, Cristo. It's shameful. It's sad. It would be funny if it weren't so sad. Some of the things, the 186,000 quid for the local road, yeah. But I mean, the Zahawi thing is the one that really gets me. I mean, here we have a Chancellor of the Exchequer who apparently, quote, carelessly forgets, unquote, to mention some, I guess it's around £28 million of income that somehow didn't make his way onto his tax return. And he admits to having paid a £4.8 million fine to the tax authorities whilst in office, high office, running the economy of this country with his hand in the pocket and purse of every single one of us while we're slogging away at work. Not a word is said. And I just asked myself, my gosh, I mean, I suppose what he did is not a crime, of course, but I mean, I just thought to myself, isn't this like a police commissioner, Cristo, who fails to mention that he was arrested, charged, and convicted of some felony whilst he was running the Met? I mean, come on. And then
I agree. I mean, it's what can you say about it, though? I mean, we used to look at societies like this. If this had been another country, we would look at it and say, "Oh my word, this is some sort of desktop, despot, country where we'd roll our eyes and say, well, we're far more civilized here in the UK." But it's just we have become that country.
Some tin pot banana republic. Hey, we're not like that. No, not at all. And then we have a prime minister so weak or so steeped in cronyism that all he can do is call a ministerial inquiry to see if there has been inappropriate behavior. Oh my God, what is that now? If the inquiry comes back and says, well, no, there wasn't inappropriate behavior, I guess we get told nothing. But what kind of country do we live in? What kind of society, Cristo, where we, the voters who put and keep these Muppets in office, don't get told how this happened? how do you forget almost 30 million pounds of income and get away with it? And then when it comes out, we don't get the details. How is that humanly possible?
I don't know, but it's this. I'll tell you what it is, Roger. Actually, I know exactly what it is. It's gaslighting on a level that we've never seen before. You know, and
never before.
And it's been going on for now quite a few years. You know, like Dominic Cummings, advisor to the government. Oh, I was testing my eyes. Boris Johnson. I didn't know a party was going on. It wasn't a party. I was ambushed by a birthday cake. People who are living on a local level, whose lives are being made hell by local Labour loony councils closing roads and creating so much congestion and unpleasantness by doing so, who are then given reports and getting stuff through their door saying this has all been an amazing success. You know, why are you complaining? It's gaslighting.
Rishi is riding around seatbeltless, making videos, telling us how wonderful he's doing. Smug Jeremy is saying, I'm stopping inflation, when you and I have been discussing for years that he's got nothing to do with it. It's cost push running itself out. I mean, what is with these people? I am so sick of this. Cristo, these people must be incredibly stupid, or probably far more likely think we all are.
I think that's what it is. Like, I think that they think that we don't remember what they said to us a week ago, or that we don't know that what is right or wrong, or that we don't know that when. You know, again, I'm obsessed with this on I don't just want this to be a Tory thing, because I'm obsessed with this on a local level as well.
No.
That when we don't remember that someone like Sadiq Khan said, oh, look, if people are against the expansion of the ultra-low emission zone, we won't go ahead with it. Have your say. Answer this consultation. And then no word of it when the consultation says it's against it all, and then goes ahead with it.
Wait, Boris, buy an electric, buy a hybrid car, you won't get taxed. And then 5 minutes later, you get taxed. Now they're even taxing electric vehicles. I mean, you're right. They think that we are so stupid that we can't, as you say, remember what happened last week. Now tell me, Cristo, you're a very wise man. How I don't know what the collective noun is for an agglomeration of politicians like this, whatever you call them, a gaggle maybe. But how do we get a gaggle? And as you say, Sir Keir is no better. I mean, since the day Boris was elected, all he ever does is take a cheap shot. You did this wrong. This is crooked. He doesn't come. Labour doesn't come up with one single idea that is original. They
do have a policy.
I want to ask you.
Yeah.
I want to ask you. How do we get them all?
I don't. Do we deserve this? Did we do something terrible? Are we? I don't know. I mean, I genuinely don't know. You're right. You know, if you were an opposition, if I was the leader of the opposition, every single day I would be trying to show to the electorate that I am a government in waiting. These are my ideas. This is what I would do differently. This is where I'm going to hold the government to account. This is where I might agree with the government, but I'm still going to question them about it. But Labour's policy is literally, we're just going to say nothing until they implode. That's their policy.
And as I said the other... As I said the other day on the program, you try to discuss this with them, and they actually can't relate to us and how we live. They don't know what we're talking about. It's like talking, I said, to a fish about water. Have you ever spoken to a fish about water? You say, hey, let's talk about water, and it goes, oh, that's a good idea. Sounds like fun. What's water? I mean, they live in it in that Westminster bubble. They have no idea what we're talking about. Why are they complaining?
Listen, we've got about 2 minutes left, and so I've really enjoyed us ranting about these things. But you want to talk about, well, you can pick what you want to talk about next, either the doom-laden economy prediction or celebrities that need to shut up, or you can do a quick word on both.
Right. Well, I'll try to do a quick on both. I've been saying for such a long time, I can't remember, that A-list celebrities should stay out of politics and money matters, because they generally don't know what they're talking about. All of our biggest lovies, Mark Rylance, Emma Thompson, and Stephen Fry, have come out and said that they've started a campaign against banks to stop funding fossil fuel companies. Now, this just at the time when we're trying to keep petrol and home energy prices down, while Putin is manipulating the international gas market. I mean, don't they understand that green things, most unfortunately, have to slide a little bit down the agenda so that people can eat and heat? Because we literally have millions of people trying to choose between the two. I just think they're so famous, successful, and rich that, again, like the politicians, they just don't get it. This is nuts. Richard Curtis, the famous director of the iconic Love Actually, founded this idiotic campaign, and he says he wants to, quote, put a fire under the banks, unquote. Yeah, well, where's he going to start?
I mean, Stephen Fry must have been absolutely furious to have had to have taken all of that money from Heathrow Airport back in 2016 for a welcome campaign, telling everyone to welcome to Britain. I mean, he must have been up there. He must be kicking himself over that one. Literally, you've got 10 seconds with a quick prediction.
Well, just the very famous investment guru Jeremy Grantham has woken up one morning. I mean, you and I talk about things like inflation for a year. You know what's coming. This out of nowhere, one morning his eggs were lousy. He wakes up and says the U.S. economy is going to fall by 50%.
Oh, right. We've got to leave it there, Roger. We've got to leave it there. But thank you, paper.